What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of the Point After Podcast. Here today talking about TCU going on the road to play in Dallas against SMU. Now, this is a rivalry game all across the board. This is a game I've had circle on my calendar. I know a few of you subscribers are SMU and TCU fans from the preview videos I did back in July or early August. While we're here, though, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 200. But back to SMU TCU. This is going to be a game, and I just want to throw it out there that whoever scheduled this for an 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPNU, shame on you. That's really depressing because you put this with Clemson Wake Forest, I'll probably have that game on, but this is the game I'm looking forward to the most on Saturday. And I'm covering like 3 or 4 different games today. This is the one that I've got circled. This is the one that my attention will be on all Saturday morning. All Saturday morning. Nonetheless, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to cover TCU. I got all kinds of points here. I think it's a 1.5 point spread leaning SMU's way, which is basically telling me if this was on neutral field, it would be even. It would be pick. I'm going to cover a little SMU topics. I'm going to cover some TCU stats. I'm going to tell you why TCU is going to win the game. I'm going to tell you why SMU is going to win the game. I'll give my final prediction, and then we'll wrap this thing up. I'll remind you to hit that subscribe button again, but before we get there, we'll start off with TCU. TCU's 2-0. They had a big road win to start the year on the road in Colorado. Not impressed with Colorado. I am impressed with how TCU bounced back. Now, they scored on 9 of their 12 possessions 2 weeks ago against Charleston State. Shout out to Jake Kemp, one of my buddies I played with at Belhaven, who's a coach on that Charleston staff. But 9 for 12 with 1 punt, 1 turnover, and 1 missed field goal if you are TCU. Now, you look at that success and you think, how do you continue to play that efficient? Well, I went back a week further when they were on the road in Colorado. They had 3 possessions in the first half. They had 3 punts, and I want to say 2 of those were 3 and outs. Flip that to the second half, they had 5 possessions, and they scored on all 5. So if you take their last 17 possessions, they have scored on 14 of the last 17. That'll come in to play in just a little bit. Max Duggan is 25 for 32 with 417 yards and 5 touchdowns. Has not thrown an interception yet. He's going to have to keep that up. Now, the TCU defense only gave up 61 second-half yards against Colorado if you negate that 2-minute drive there at the end of the game that Colorado have. So 130-something yards total in the second half. Really, really, really impressive performance out of TCU. I'm even more impressed at the fact that they were able to keep it going. They're converting 52% on third downs. That's really, really good offensively. You're going to have to keep that up. And then defensively, you're only allowing your opponents to convert on 38%. So, again, that's really good as well. That's 16 for 26. So, your opponents have only had 26 third downs. You're allowing them to convert on 10 of those 26. So, that percentage may seem really high, but when you're only allowing 26 attempts throughout the season, that's pretty good. That's 13 per game. That's about on average, if not below average. On the other hand, if you're SMU, you're coming off of a very, very heartbreaking loss against Maryland where you should have won that game. If you break down just the box score of that game, you would think you won. I think you had more yards. I know you ran like 30 more plays. You had 30 first downs in that game against Maryland. You hurt yourself. You had 3 turnovers, I believe, 2 interceptions. You had your first 2 possessions were turnover on downs and a field goal. You had 4 possessions inside the Maryland 10, and you came away with only 3 points. It may not be the 10, it may be within the 12 or whatever, but still, inside the red zone, you had 4 possessions. You came away with a field goal, 2 turnovers on downs. That's not going to get it done in any game. Look at Miami and Texas A&M. Same thing. They had 4 possession trips. They had 3 points in that one, lose that one by 8. You're, again, also converting on 52% third down percentage. So TCU and SMU neck and neck in that category. Defensively, though, you are 35 for 45. So that's the difference. Now, TCU has allowed 10 their opponents to convert 10 times on third down. SMU's allowed their opponents to convert 10 times on third down. The difference is TCU's only seen 26. SMU has seen 48. Now, Tanner Mordecai, you ask him, he knows he didn't play well last week. He's got over 1,000 yards on the season. He's only thrown threw 2 interceptions against Maryland, 3 on the season total, and he's thrown 10 touchdowns. Tanner Mordecai is going to have to put on a show, which there's nothing new for him. I truly believe that he can do that, and I know Rhett Lashley is, he's eyeing up a really good game plan to get back at Sonny Dykes. That's what I meant to mention earlier was Sonny Dykes. If you don't know, if you're new here and you're just oblivious to the TCU SMU, Sonny Dykes was SMU's head coach. Leaves to go to TCU. I think he took some players with him. I don't know exactly how many. Max Duggan, I don't even know if he was the true starter going into week 1, but he's a starter now. And there's some bad blood in the SMU locker room and on that SMU campus about Sonny Dykes. Now, did Sonny Dykes underperform? Maybe so while he was at SMU, but this is a rivalry game that goes a little bit deeper than just a traditional rivalry. Now, Rasheed Rice for SMU averaging 9 yards per carry, or 9 catches per game. 100 yards per game and a touchdown in the first 3. That's unbelievable. I don't know where that ranks nationally, but if I'm looking at player props to bet on this week, I'm going with Rasheed Rice. I'll tell you what I'm betting on Twitter, so go ahead and make sure you check us out there as well. Now, I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier. How is TCU going to win this game? TCU is going to win this game by just being efficient. Like I said, you've scored on 14 of your last 17 possessions. You go 3 and out your first 3 of the season. After that, 14 for 17 is unbelievable. That's really, really good, and that's really, really efficient. And that's what you have to do. You have to keep this game close in the first half. I think SMU could potentially lead this game going into halftime. The only thing is if you're TCU, if you're down 20-17 at halftime, if you're down 13-10, something along those lines, take that as a win. I mean, SMU's putting up 40 points per game. You're putting up 48. And keep in mind, you didn't score in the first half at all against Colorado. So you're putting up 48 points per game, and that's really in let's see. Let's do some math here. 7, 8, 48.5 points per game in a game and a half. Okay, so that's not 2 games. That's in a game and a half. I'm trying to do some division there. That's beyond me. I'm here to talk football, not math. Nonetheless, though, TCU, if you want to win the game, you have to stay efficient and you have to keep it close at halftime. SMU, if you want to win this game, you're going to have to put up 40-plus points. You're going to have to keep pace with what you've been doing all year. You're going to have to put up your 500 yards of offense. You can't allow TCU to put up 500 yards of offense because if this gets into a shootout, I'm probably taking TCU's defense ahead of yours. I'm sorry. But another thing I'm taking is that efficiency because when you got Max Duggan who hasn't turned the ball over and he's barely even thrown any incompletions, he's almost got more touchdowns than he does incompletions. On the flip side of that, if you're going to turn the ball over, I think you had, just going back, you had a bunch of turnover on downs. You had 2 interceptions against Maryland. Maryland's not great defensively. Maryland has a really good offense. That could be the difference in this game is SMU's turnovers versus TCU's efficiency. And I'll tell you what, saying SMU and TCU way too much is kind of like a tongue twister here. So if anyone else is doing a preview video, I'd try to say that the least amount possible. But those are my keys to victory for both teams. Like I said, the line is 1.5 currently in favor of SMU. I'm going to lean TCU to win this football game because I trust efficiency over just being able to score points. The over-under set at 68.5. What I would do personally, maybe wait before you bet on that. Do some live betting here. Let that come down because when the game starts and say we get that scenario where it's 17-13 at halftime, SMU's leading, that over-under is going to drop down to maybe 55, 54, maybe lower 60s, like 62. Then take it. Then take the over. Because the second half, that's when the points are going to be scored. Again, I'm leaning SMU first half. I'm leaning TCU to win this game. I like again, just keep it close in the first half. If you're TCU, I think you can pull away in the second. SMU, score a lot of points. You got to have 30 first downs again like you did. Keep TCU's offense off the field. If they're efficient as hell, they still can't do any harm when they're on the sideline. So SMU, score points, keep a hold of the football. I'm not going to be surprised whoever wins this game. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to go either way. But I'm leaning with the Horned Frog. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. I'm all kinds of tongue-tied here. TCU, SMU, I've said that way too much tonight. I'm going to end the video here, but thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think, how this game is going to go, and let me know who you're rocking with, whether it be TCU or SMU. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys later today with more preview videos.